Morgen. Morgen.
Begging's not my style. I see this as work. Would you like a paper?
Each day, they struggle for survival and acceptance.
Some people want to lock homeless people in a cellar and throw away the key.
In Berlin, more and more people find themselves living on the streets. How would you describe your life?
It's a disaster. I'm forced to do this because I have nothing.
How do they deal with everyday life?
A photo? Okay. Can you take my picture?
How can they end the cycle of homelessness?
That apartment's gone already. That one too.
3 people tell their stories.
What do you need, Bülent?
A t-shirt.
What size?
Medium.
It's soft. What else?
Some socks. And if possible, some trousers.
Bülent has been homeless for 3 years.
This jacket should fit.
The Straßenfeger emergency shelter has become his safe haven.
You're all set.
I'll take them to my room.
But Bülent is only able to stay here for 10 nights at a time. Then he has to leave again.
This is everything I own. A rucksack and some clothes. It's not much. This needs a wash, but it's my favorite sweater. The slogan is just brilliant. I don't speak English very well, but I was told the translation is something like, I'm running away from my problems.
Are you?
Well, in a way, lots of people run away from their problems because they're just too big to solve.
Bülent is now 49 and grew up in Berlin. The problems that led to homelessness started when he was young.
My father was an alcoholic. He treated us pretty badly, so I had quite a difficult childhood. Now I've got no one left. I'm all on my own.
He's found work through Straßenfeger, the charity that runs the emergency shelter. The organization also publishes a bi-monthly magazine. Bülent is helping one of the social workers, Stephen, as the new copies arrive. Bülent is especially excited about this issue.
There's an interview with me in there. I've been waiting to see it.
The magazine dedicates a whole page to Bülent, who's been selling copies for the last 2 years.
We're running out of space.
This is the last box, though.
It gives people their dignity back. One thing that's important to them is that it's not begging. They have something to offer people. And it brings a bit of normality and structure, which is also important.
I need 20 magazines.
Bülent pays 50 cents per magazine. He sells them for €2.50.
That's 10.
He lives on the profit he makes.
And then another 10.
So I've bought 20 copies. Hopefully I'll be lucky enough to sell them all tomorrow. That's what I'm hoping. Let's see how tomorrow goes.
Is that an ambitious target?
The most I've ever sold in a day was 6 magazines. So if I can shift 20, I'll be breaking my own record. It's quite a high bar, but I'm definitely going to give it a go.
He hopes that his interview will be a selling point.
Come over this way. Let's go into the sun for a bit. The sun's always good. This is my friend Anua. Say hello.
Manni is going about his morning routine, warming up after a night where the temperature was about 0 degrees Celsius.
It's the same as every morning. It never gets boring here. It's still empty, but people will show up later. You really never know what's going to happen here.
Manni is 40 and says he grew up in this neighbourhood. He first pitched his tent here about 6 years ago. How would you describe your life?
It's a disaster, but I don't let it show. I don't go around complaining about it, because that wouldn't change anything. You just have to find a way through and make the best of things. Good to see you. How are you? There's a cardboard box over there with beer in it. Could you bring another one? Thanks a lot. He's an old friend of mine. No, not there, Marcel, on the other side. Marcel with double L. Better if I go get it myself. He won't find it. The orange one. Help yourself. Everything's a bit of a mess, I have to say. I need to tidy up. Everything's gotten messy in the cold weather.
The long Berlin winter has taken its toll on his tent.
I don't sleep there anymore. Lately, I've been sleeping here. I've got 2 sleeping bags and this really soft pillow. I wrap myself up and I try to last through the night. But thank God it's not so cold anymore. I have to get into survival mode a bit, like a Boy Scout. Cooking and keeping myself warm. The fireball is multi-purpose in that sense. Unfortunately, people complain a lot about the smoke. Hey, what can you do?
Authorities have repeatedly cleared away his campsite, partly because of complaints from residents in the increasingly affluent neighbourhood. Manni himself would love to live differently.
An apartment doesn't have to be a palace. It can be simple, with 4 walls, just like everyone else has. A bath, a little bed, a stove. So you can wash yourself and cook food.
But he's not optimistic about his chances on the housing market.
If a landlord asked me where I last lived, I couldn't say number 1 Helmholtzplatz, a park bench. If they knew I'd been on the streets, they'd never take me.
The number of homeless people in Berlin has been rising for years, partly because of a severe housing shortage. Daniel is raising awareness about the problem.
This looks great.
He was evicted from his apartment after falling behind on his rent.
Today's a kind of sarcastic celebration because at 7 a.m. 6 years ago, I had to hand over the keys to the apartment I'd lived in for 36 years.
Daniel is turning this anniversary into a demonstration, raising awareness about homelessness and remembering those who have died on the streets.
Hi, I'm Daniel. You're very welcome. It's free for all artists.
Daniel hopes his story will show people how quickly somebody can fall into homelessness.
Excuse me, can I talk to you about homeless people? Excuse me, are you interested in supporting the homeless? Hi there, can I speak to you for a moment? I can see you're interested in what we're doing. Today we're raising awareness about poverty and homelessness. It can happen to anyone. You're still pretty young. You probably know that the rents just keep going up and up. Are you interested in homelessness? Why not? It could happen to anyone. This is Berlin.
Daniel's eviction led him to become politically active. 6 years on, he still doesn't have a permanent apartment, despite having a part-time job.
My one wish is to get an apartment as soon as possible. Otherwise, I'm perfectly happy.
2 of Manni's neighbours have come over for a late breakfast.
Hey, Laura. Hey, Sebastian. How's it going?
Sebastian practices alternative medicine, and Laura is a student.
Oh, look at that.
A fried egg cooked on both sides with dino nuggets. I didn't have any bacon. Are you hungry yet?
No. I still need to warm up.
How about a coffee?
Yes. The chair's a bit dirty, but it'll do.
Initially, they were hesitant, but for the last few months, Sebastian and Laura have been coming here regularly.
It's really nice. The atmosphere here is always different. You meet new people, and each time we get to know Manni a bit more and become his friend. It's lovely to know how he likes to eat his eggs, or what his favorite band is, or whatever.
In the beginning, I came here with a sense of pity. But straight away, I realized that was wrong. Nobody here needs that. Respect is much better. It completely changed my perspective.
Manni, would you like some cream?
Please.
If there's conflict between Manni and local residents, Laura and Sebastian are able to mediate.
Our dream is that neither group will see the other as outsiders, not the homeless people or the residents.
But not everyone feels that way. Homeless people have been living in this park for decades. But the neighbourhood is changing, and plenty of residents don't want them or people with substance abuse problems hanging around. Manni's been banned from the supermarket across the square. In the cafe opposite, opinions are divided.
For a long time, I've avoided this area. You often see aggressive altercations between the men, shouting and arguing.
As a woman, it can feel a bit unsafe at night.
It's kind of part of the vibe in Berlin. They've been here on the square for quite a while. The way they sit around their fire looks quite romantic.
I'd say they're part of everyday life here. As long as he doesn't start a wildfire, which has happened in the past, and as long as he doesn't get too many of his friends to join, I think it's something we can deal with. After all, these people need to have somewhere to go.
Bülent is hoping to break his record by selling 20 magazines today.
Morgen. Morgen. Morgen.
Would you like a copy of the new issue? There's a story about me in there. Let me know what you think. $2.50. Have a great day.
He's off to a good start. Selling the magazines is his only source of income.
Begging's not my style. I don't want to bother people. I see this as work. I'm friendly and nice, and if someone does make a donation, of course I don't say no. Thank you. Have a lovely day. Would you like one?
Thank you.
Bülent doesn't receive any social security benefits. He doesn't even have health insurance.
I do things with a smile so that people smile back. Sometimes it works, sometimes they ignore me. Hi there.
Want a coffee?
That'd be great, thank you. Here's a pram. It's polite to say thank you. I'm not necessarily expecting people to give me anything, but you can at least say thank you. Sadly, that's something lots of people have forgotten. Some people don't treat you differently whether you're homeless or not. They just treat you like a human being. And then there are the ones who look at you as if they've seen a monster and immediately turn away.
Milk and sugar's in there.
All right, thank you.
And here's a pastry too.
Would you like a copy? There's an interview with me in there. Have a read. Have a good day.
Bülent isn't supposed to sell right outside the door because that's private property. The building management has also told him he's not allowed to open the door for people because they say it damages the automatic mechanism. But he does it anyway, so he's been banned from the premises. He now has to stay behind the line of paving stones.
Some money for the magazine.
Thank you.
Did you tell them I gave you a lottery ticket? Did you win?
Sadly, no.
We often do that. I always cross my fingers that the right person will win.
She's become almost like my mum. She's always helping me out.
I don't go over the top. Sometimes at the end of the month I tell him that money's a bit tight and he says no problem. He often gets treated in a negative way. They chase him away and say he's not allowed to stand there. People insult him, and that's not right. Once I wanted to buy him a haircut because his hair was so long. I paid for it. But the guy threw the money at his feet and said, "Go get your haircut somewhere else."
I was very, very sad that day. I almost cried. Because I don't smell bad. I'm cleanly dressed, and it'd be nice if I could be treated like a human being. How's it going? Have you eaten? Do you want some food?
Yeah.
It's a pastry. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. My current record is 6.
9 Stück. Mein Rekord war ja bis jetzt auf 6. Und meine
I'll
Hoffnung
keep my
steht zum
hopes up
Schluss,
because I'd
weil
love
ich
to sell
möchte
them all
Arbeit
today.
loswerden.
He has another 2 hours to sell his remaining copies. Meanwhile, at the square in Prenzlauer Berg, Manni has lost something very important.
My tax ID number. Where can it be?
As of this year, he needs a bank account to get social security payments. But he can't open an account without his tax number.
I've got this. Look, I don't know if it's the same thing.
All he finds is a letter about health insurance.
But I can just call them and ask for the tax number, right?
If they'll tell you over the phone, let's go over here.
It's worth a try.
Let's give it a go. Hello, I'm calling for a friend who's sitting beside me. We'd like to ask for his tax ID number. Sure, I'll hand you over.
Hello. Things are a bit chaotic here right now. I can't find anything. The bank needs my tax ID number. I'm hoping you can tell me what it is. Cool, okay, just a moment. Do you have a pen and paper? Please read it slowly. Okay, yeah, let's go. 7, 6. Correct? Okay, good. Right, tax ID underneath it.
He also wants to replace his lost health insurance card.
Can I order a new card? You need a picture? Okay, just a moment. Can you take a photo of me in front of a white background? It doesn't have to be nice. Just a bit like a biometric photo. Could you take one and send it to her?
Maybe over there, behind that parking sign?
That's beige.
But beige or white, it doesn't make a difference. Shall we do it?
Let's go to a building with a white wall. We'll be right back. Take the picture.
Got it.
Then you write first name, last name, my date of birth, and then send it.
With Laura's help, Manni's managed to get over some bureaucratic hurdles. Daniel still feels the pain of being evicted a few years ago.
Before that, I hadn't smoked for 13 years. Then came the eviction, and then the pandemic, and living in shelters. You're just stuck in that room. I started smoking again like crazy.
For nearly a year now, he's been living in a 40 square metre social housing apartment. But it's only temporary.
Here's the kitchen, small but nice. I'm going to make a honey sandwich. I haven't properly settled in yet. Everything's just thrown together, and lots of things are just plastic, but it's way better than the shelter. I can take a shower and then just walk naked through the kitchen or go straight to bed, no problem. I can't do that in a shelter.
Although he's glad to have the apartment, it doesn't compare to having a permanent home.
I can stay here for 6 months. Then I have to reapply. Social services then have to approve it, and the caseworker also has to want to help you. If you don't play along with their system, for example, if you're argumentative or if you have depression and you're not coping, then they can say the arrangement isn't working. Then you have to move out of the apartment and you end up back in a shelter.
Daniel lives in constant fear of ending up in one of them again. He wants to regain his independence.
Okay, let's have a look. Every day I check the apartment listings.
How many applications do you think you've sent?
In total? Let me think. It's been about 4.5 years, so probably at least 6,000, give or take.
He's only been invited to an apartment viewing about 60 times.
Here's a listing for a rental. The address is Tempelhofer Damm. Looks good. I'm going to apply.
Daniel works part-time at a social welfare organisation. He also gets social security payments. His budget for monthly rent is €500.
I'll go back to the listing page. Oh, it's already been taken down. That means I can't apply anymore. Let's see when it was posted. Today at 12:49 p.m. And they took it down 12 minutes later. Probably because in those 12 minutes about 2,000 people applied. That one's gone too. No one chooses to be homeless. If someone doesn't want to go into a shelter, it's because there are 4 strangers in one room. One might be an alcoholic, the other a heroin addict, and the third someone with aggression problems. And then you come in as a newcomer, and you have to live with those 3. It's stressful.
How was that for your mental health?
Well, it was... I need to take a break, because I'm repeating myself.
You're not.
I am. I'm repeating myself. Dead. I wanted to take my own life. That's how I felt. I can't keep doing this. It's too much.
Manni has settled into his evening routine.
Can't even see the game or the Sugar Ray fight. The bill collectors, they ring my phone and scare my wife when I'm not home. Got a bum education.
Don't mess around. I just asked you to sit down. Everything that happens here is my fault.
As host, Manni feels responsible. He doesn't want any trouble.
Alcohol isn't a solution, but it calms you down and eases the pain. The problems don't go away, but it numbs you and helps you handle things. When everyone's drunk, it's easier to talk. It'd be harder if everyone else was drinking and I was sober. Everyone should be on the same level. How long will we be here? Until everyone falls down drunk. No, I'm joking.
Bülent's finally done for the day.
Time to knock off.
Hi.
How's it going? I need some new magazines.
I was just about to ask.
Yeah, so I managed to shift 18 of them.
Wow. Well, we're here. Come on over.
Okay, I will.
Time to take stock.
This is what I made today. Let me count it.
10, 20.
How much do you usually make?
Usually I make about 15 or 20 euros a day. 30, 35, 40, 50, 70. Oh, I haven't made this much in a long time.
Are you happy?
Yes. I can extend my cell phone flat rate for 15 euros, buy some toiletries, and have a nice meal later. It's nice to be able to afford things without having to ask anyone for something. This was a good day.
Bülent often spends his afternoons alone in the park, partly so that he can steer clear of drugs and alcohol.
There are people who hang out by the supermarket, but they're not what I'd call friends. Family. That's what I miss. When you think about it, you get sad. I might laugh outside the supermarket, but I very rarely feel like that when I'm on my own. My goal is simple: to live the life I actually want to live. With an apartment and maybe a modest job. Just a normal life, with health insurance and friends. I want to be the actual Bülent. Not the homeless Bülent.
At least we're still alive. We're still alive. And that's a good thing. You just have to keep going. Keep up the fight. And never give up.